Okay. All right, I'd like to call the November Town Board meeting to order with a salute to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, start this evening with the approval of the prior Town Board minutes. Do you have any comments, questions, corrections?
Move to approve.
Motion by Bob,
Second?
second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? Okay. Okay. Go on to your clerk report, please, Mary.
Okay, and I had help this month by my deputy
All right.
doing it, but she doesn't want to read it. She's gonna kill me. Okay, town clerk report for October 2020. Zoning Board of Appeals, special permit application for Bodo, $100. Special permit application for AHG, William Cole, $100. Dog licenses, $17.50. Driveway permits, $25. Certified copies, $20. Marriage license, $17.50. Interest, 8 cents. Total check for the general fund, $280.08. Trust and agency, escrow for zoning for Bodo, $250. Escrow zoning for AHG William Cole Storage, $250. Total for trust and agency, $500. Paid to New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, $7. Paid to New York State Department of Health, $22.50. So the total for October, $809.58.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Clerk report. All right, how about mail review? What do we got?
All right, a few things this month, I think, let's see. The shredder for senior, for your paperwork for seniors will be here on November 30th and be here until December 11th. It'll be here on the Thursday nights when we are here from 6 to 8 and Saturday 10 a.m. to noon. This is for your documents to be shredded, bank statements, cards, bills, receipts, expired passports, visas, all such stuff like that. So you bring it in and put it in the basket, in the barrel, and they'll take it away and shred it. Okay, and they are having a, let's see, a December 2nd, Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. The office for the, I'm sorry, not the office for the aging, the Eddie Alzheimer's Services will be holding a holiday bingo. So this will be posted on the board.
It's on the website as well, Mary.
Pardon?
It's on the website as well.
Yes, I did send it, yes.
Oh, okay.
I sent
Yeah, I
it.
didn't know if you knew it was posted. I didn't remember if I
Okay,
responded.
yeah, I did. I saw it actually, yes.
Okay.
So you can participate by phone, tablet, or computer. Instructions will be provided closer to the event. Let's see. It's a free program. They also, November 24th on Tuesday, they're going to have memory mixers offering a welcoming environment for individuals with memory changes and their care partners to spend time together and meet others. That'll be on Tuesday, November 24th. And that, they're located, I don't know exactly where. That's too bad. I don't think they told me. Wow. I guess you could probably call our Office for the Aging in Hudson to find out. They sent it. The number's 828-4258. And that's it.
That's it. Okay,
That's all.
thank you, Mary. Correspondence from the web committee. We have any questions, comments, complaints? That's great news. All right. Let's move on to committee reports. Bob.
Just a few things. First of all, to reiterate for some of those that came in late. The highway department continues to save us a lot of money, most recently on some repairs to their tractor that would have cost us a lot if they'd been farmed out. The signs are up in the Claremont Park. The Veterans Monument path is pretty much done except for the topsoil that'll be put on the sides, and Jimmy's been looking for a place of some of these people that produce topsoil and screened, and he's looking for one that's, you know, kind of less expensive, and at this point it's probably going to be spring or early summer before that gets finished up. But the path itself is pretty much there, and with the rainstorms we've had, it has not washed out at all, so it looks like it's pretty solid. The other thing which we had talked in the past about screening for the Miller property, I did talk to Ronnie Miller and asked him about a couple of things. He said he does like forsythia. He says it you know, it's attractive and it grows fast and it makes a good screening.
Excuse me, Bob, so he's going to plant the forsythia.
No, we can plant it.
Oh, we're going to plant it.
Well, there was some discussion about us putting up a fence, you know, it's split rail fence or some kind of fence, and then they would do the vegetation, but I'm not proposing that. I don't know what anybody else on the board thinks.
I'd never
About
heard
that.
about the fence.
Well, that was a discussion that somebody, I think, on the committee, I think, had with Ronnie and or his daughter or something, and they had indicated that they would do the vegetation if we would put up a fence, but I think we really would like to, you know, do the screening and the vegetation, and I'm still recommending primarily forsythia. We could put some other things, lilacs or Rose of Sharon, either on the ends or interspersed in between. If the committee wants to take a look at that and see how they would think that would look the best. But primarily, forsythia is a thing that our engineer has continually recommended anytime we've had solar panels being put up that we wanted screening for, or the planning board wanted screening, and that's what he's continuously recommended to us. And I think it works well, and Ronnie, again, liked it. So, yeah.
Hi. The only reason why I'm interrupting this, I'm concerned about the responsibility of the town and a private owner of the property. And I don't want it to be a conflict of interest. Okay, the Millers have kids, they have playground equipment, we know the park is going to be used, but I'm still concerned about what their responsibility is. They knew the land that they bought, and what is their responsibility in ours?
Well,
And then, excuse me, and there are many other properties that are contiguous to the park. So what is our responsibility and their responsibility? And I don't want to go into forsythia. There are other things that have been recommended. So I don't want there to be a conflict of interest. You know, there are other people who have put up plantings and have not asked the town for anything, for nothing, because they knew where they bought their property. So it's something that I think about, and I think the board should think about.
I think
Who's
that,
paying for
Sibelius, I
what?
think that belongs in public comment, really, right?
Sorry.
You know, as far as, I'm just trying to give the
Okay.
committee report for the board. And as far as the idea of different properties and conflict of interest, I think one of the things I look at is, when we do screening along the borderlines, I'm looking primarily at beautifying the park, and it's just an extra benefit that it actually screens for the other people. And each property that borders on the town park property has different situations. And we've said all along, I think, Ray, you agree with that we've said that was the one area that we did want to start screening with. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, we can talk about that when we get to the park workers, that's fine.
Okay. That's all I had for committee report.
Okay. Lindsay?
Yeah, so a couple updates just following up from our last meeting. So deer protection was purchased and has arrived. It's actually in my car out there. And it will be installed next Sunday at 10 a.m., between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. There's going to be a volunteer event. So if anyone would like to come and protect the new trees of the park by putting up some deer protection, that's happening. It will involve pounding in some stakes and so on.
Do you have a time,
We're also
Lindsay?
going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
10 to 1?
Yeah, and we're going to be cleaning up those front beds in preparation for the winter time as well. We also ordered the 10 park benches and 2 tables. The benches are, I guess, about 6 weeks out from actual delivery. The tables, I believe, were delivered on Friday, although I went to check today and they weren't there. So do you know if they arrived?
I didn't double check on them to see if they came in.
Okay,
I told them they were coming, but I didn't talk about the receipt or not.
It's likely the tables are here. I don't know if they're assembled or not. I will follow up with Highway to see what the situation is. And the intention is that those will be moved over to the Veterans Knolls area. So we'll need some assistance because I think they're very heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure
the
they can
committee
do it.
could do it on Sunday, probably.
Yeah, they get equipment, they can move them
Okay.
easy enough, I'm sure.
Uh,
I tell them
Is the intent to try to get those set up and put out before winter, or
Well,
to store
they
them?
don't have anything under them, so they can be moved around. So yeah,
Okay.
and they're very heavy duty weatherproof. So I think we could just have them out all
Okay.
winter, or we can wait if there's any advantage.
It'll
to
be a little
doing
harder
that.
to store, so they may wanna put those out, but there's plenty of room as of right now, so whatever we wanna do with it. I mean, I think it's kinda nice to put them out there. Some people like to go out and take a walk in it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
there,
sure.
so, you know,
Might as well.
Sure.
And then the benches will be here in 6 weeks, and the park committee had a meeting and they walked around the property and they came up with this map of locations for installation of those benches. These are surface mount benches that will require a concrete pad underneath them, which I don't know, given the weather, if we can do concrete.
Yeah, there's still time
Yeah,
if they
this
can do
year.
it, if they can do it shortly, yeah.
Though they're not gonna arrive for 6 weeks, right?
Well, but you don't have to have the bench to do the concrete. The concrete has to be done first anyway, so it's fine.
Oh,
We can do
that's
it
true.
now.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So
Is-
Amy was gonna go out and mark these spots. She didn't give me a detailed enough map of the top of the knoll, so I couldn't tell you exactly where they are proposing to put them.
Are the benches bolted to the concrete, or
Yes.
are they set into the concrete?
They're bolted.
Bolted.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Poor pad.
the map came up differently on everybody else's computer. Mine came out lighter, so it looked like all the places that we were at. And then other people kind of emailed in and said, I can't tell where it is, but it was, we went around the whole park and tried to pick, especially at Veterans Memorial. That's a reflective spot. And we took that very seriously. So we wanted it to be a very calming place where people can sit and just reflect.
Mhm.
Which is why I think the picnic tables are at the base of the hill rather than at the top, because we did talk about it being a reflective spot when we were out there that day.
Maybe what we can do is, just hammer in a little stake with, where you want each one, the picnic tables,
Mhm.
and that way we know where to have, how you guys put them
Yep.
over there, and then the other ones will mark out.
Yes, yes.
Sure. Okay.
It's your person. Sure.
But
We can
we've
review
we've talked almost forever about having a picnic table at the top of the knoll. That's back a ways from the monument. It's not right on top of the monument. It would be back a ways. It's a nice spot for people to sit and look at the hills, look at the games that are going on. And I still think we should put one up there.
Well, thankfully, the tables are easy to move. There's nothing underneath them. So if we decide that one spot doesn't work, we can easily move them or get another one if we
Right,
feel
right.
like there's
And
more
also,
demand.
I think Amy was very good. She wanted the tables to be under trees,
That was the
so
other
it's not
thing.
very hot. So there are things that we don't think about. And if you're going to sit at memorials, Veterans Memorial, you wanna be under a tree where it's cool, so you feel comfortable.
And that's why I had suggested one of them down there between the two big trees that are there, where I have actually seen people picnicking on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one time, there must have been a dozen people, mostly kids, sitting on the ground, and they can still do that, but if we put a table there, it makes it a little easier for them to lay out their stuff that they have. And if they have a group that big, someone will still sit on the ground.
Yeah, and that's, you know, where these two tables are, that's, as I recall, because we talked about the monument being a reflective spot, and then also, underneath, put the tables underneath the trees,
And there are trees on the top of the hill also, I think, aren't there?
yes.
All right, we can take a look at that and see when we stake it, and see where they're looking at. You know, like I said, we move around, so, we'll take a look. All right.
And I guess the only last thing from the park committee specifically regarding the perimeter is Jen in particular has been quite frustrated to see quite a few individuals walking dogs without leashes. She has livestock that certainly could be endangered by a dog off of a leash. So she is very anxious to have some sort of fencing to make it clear what's her land and what's the parkland. It's not clear for people when they're walking back there. It is where there is obviously the electric fence, but certainly, you know, a dog can easily get under that. So anyways, she has requested, and the park committee has, I think, supported this idea too, that there's some clear designation between what is park and what is not. And I mean, I think that could be a potential solution for the Miller property as well. I mean, this is not something they're proposing doing today, but maybe thinking about this next year. How can we efficiently designate what's planned and
You talking about from like where the culvert is back?
yeah,
That area?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
the
so
culvert's,
this
you know,
area
back here.
here, yeah.
Okay.
It's just unclear on the apple orchard because there's no fence there.
Okay.
So,
She's actually got fence.
On the front part, right?
she
she's got it back-
has fence around
She's got it
here.
into the
and
back of the
along
corner
here.
also,
No,
because she's
but not
actually got
here.
some of it on town property.
I think it would make sense to have it along here, just to make that very clear.
Yeah, only about a foot or two, but it's, you know, it's close.
Well, I think that's part of it too, is when we have to, I think we need to be equitable when we do this to all of the neighbors. Some people have taken the initiative that to screen their property from the park. But I think the other piece too is to use the screening as delineation of park property versus private property.
All right, well, these other spots that were marked out, they're not actually marked on the ground?
They're not marked on the
Nothing's
ground
marked,
yet.
okay.
I just, if
Okay.
anyone has feedback at this point, you know, this is just a map, obviously. And assuming everyone feels pretty good about this, the next step is that on Sunday she'll go and mark it.
But if you wanted to walk it all contain exactly what everybody agreed, what bench should be there, where the picnic table should be, under what tree, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like the back area, I mean, you know, we're gonna have to obviously mark that, and if, like I said, if the highway department has time, they may be able to pour some of these pads and get it ready. So,
Yep,
I mean, we just
that's
need to
great.
mark on the ground back there, so, you
Yep.
know, I can't just do it in the map, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, and we need to make sure the dimensions are right.
Okay, all right.
Can I give you a compliment, Ray? The park committee forgot to thank you. You had brought the big machinery up.
Oh.
You were planting the trees, and I didn't want to wait. I mean, it just like, wow.
That's
I mean,
no
it's like,
problem.
brought the big stuff in. Can you imagine like digging that hole for all those trees? We would have been out of our minds.
No, that wouldn't have worked well.
I know, but I wanted to thank you, and we forgot to
Thank
do
you.
this. But I want to do it publicly, and is it on the iPhone? There, good. So, and that was a consensus.
All right, well, thank
All
you,
right.
no
I'll
problem.
make sure I put that in.
All right. Lindsay, anything else?
That's it.
That's it, all right. So I don't forget, I just want to thank you for getting those benches ordered and getting them taken care of and getting them here, so,
Yeah.
and coming anyway, so thank you for handling that.
Happy to do it.
Okay, Chris.
The only update I have is I did get Mary's computer, finally.
Right.
I have not even taken it out of the box yet,
Uh-oh.
but I do have it. I picked it up on Friday.
All right.
So I'll be working on that, Mary. I'll try to get your software from your current computer and get it moved over. So I'll try to have that done soon.
Thank you.
Did that end up being through the county bid?
It was through the
Okay.
county. Yeah, I don't really know that they saved us much, but by the time, I mean, we did this back in September and then they lost, I guess,
They didn't check the fax machine
Yeah.
or something, or the fax.
so it
Okay.
went an entire month and I think their quote actually expired by the time we followed up with them. So we had to go through the process again, and then they had a bunch of software that we didn't need, so, yeah. It's finally sorted out, and I do have the computer now.
Thank you.
All right.
I have
thank you.
another compliment. That I've heard from people that the website is much easier to get into and to read, and they like the layout. So just wanted to compliment you for cleaning it up.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of cleanup to do. I
Right.
think the web committee at the time, there were quite a few people involved that had a lot to do with that, so.
Oh, good. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that people have told me this.
Good, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
All right. Move on to Dawn.
Mary Howard forwarded to me a grant from America Walks. It's a $1,500 grant. The due deadline is the 9th. It's a little, I'm having a little bit stuck on it, because it's not just, although it would definitely be for the park, it needs to show how it would increase inclusivity and things like that. So, we're a pretty, we don't have a lot of diversity in our community in order to increase participation. So it's a little, I need to be a little bit more creative. So I will let you all know where it turns out.
Okay.
And I'm happy to help you with that.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Perfect.
And I have not heard anything from Bill Better. Should I reach out to him?
Yeah, if you don't mind,
Okay,
you
I
may
will
want
do
to,
that.
because I thought he said he was gonna reach out to you, but he might have stopped by, I wouldn't have to
Okay,
give him a
I
call.
will give him
Or
a
shoot him an
call.
email,
What was that for?
about the,
Cards and
church, the
check.
schoolhouse.
Oh,
Okay, is that it, Dawn?
Yep, that's it.
All right, move on to old business. First thing I want to do is thank numerous people. I gotta get my list out because there's quite a list of donations. So we did receive quite a few donations this month. Starting with the incentive for everybody to make donations was a $5,000 donation by Mary Howard and her husband. Thank you very much. That followed a donation of $2,000 by Bob Desmond. Thank you very much. And it was a matching grant, up to $5,000. So we had several people make donations, and I'm happy to say we exceeded the $5,000 mark to match that $5,000 donation. So starting with Bob's $2,000, we had a $1,000 donation from Louise Colleen for the park. I'd like to thank her. I'd like to thank Phil Psycho for a $1,000 donation from her as well.
Mike Prunis, his name is.
Mike Prunis, I know Mike Prunis. I would like to thank him for his donation of $250. Also like to thank Hardy Roots for their donation of $500.
550, 500, right.
$500. And we just received another donation from Diane O'Neill for $250, which makes the $5,000 exactly. And I didn't know we had that, so I made a donation of $1,000 as well from my company. So we had actually $6,000 in donations.
So we're over.
All
So we had
right.
$11,000 total. So I'd
I'm
just
glad
like
you
to
did
thank.
it, because I didn't want to do it. Should have put it in.
So I just, again, want to thank everybody, and ongoing donations obviously help support the park, the development of the park, and it does minimize any tax dollars that we have to put into the park. So I think this is a win-win for everybody. As long as we can keep doing this, it's going to come to a point, at some point, where we probably will have to reach out for more money, obviously, but because there's a lot of work to do there. But as of right now, donations are supporting everything we're doing, and I think that's great. So I just, again, thank everybody for the donations. Revenue update, just to give everybody an idea where we stand with our revenues this year. Originally, obviously, at the beginning of the year, we were on track. We were doing real well with our sales tax intake for revenues. COVID-19 put a little damper on that, and the predictions from COVID-19 on sales tax were very grim. They talked about 25-30% decrease in sales tax funding, which would be devastating to our budget because that's primarily our largest, obviously our largest revenue. The second quarter payment came in much lower than the year before, which was kind of following predictions. This last third quarter payment just came in this past week, was the largest sales tax check we have ever received. It was actually up 8% over last year's numbers, which is phenomenal. So we actually received a sales tax check for $123,172 this past for this past quarter. The predictions were wrong. The county, you know, as I said, when they predicted that we would be down 20-30%, I says, you know, I think you really have to take into account the internet spending, because now we're getting taxed dollars on the internet spending. People are still shopping, they're spending money on the internet, they're still going to stores, believe it or not. And it shows because the sales tax was just very, very high this past quarter. So the county's predictions of it being as low as it was going to be are off, so that means good news for the county as well. I still haven't had the update on where we stand on the county budget, but they're still predicting you know, a grim outlook for the rest of the quarter, or the next quarter. But again, I don't believe it. I really think we're going to maintain. I don't think we're going to, you know, obviously make money or make any more, increase it, but I do think we're going to maintain our numbers from last year. With this payment, we're actually right on track to meet last year's sales tax numbers. So
we're
we're
getting
very,
close.
very close. So we're going to be in very good shape as far as I'm concerned for our tax budget, tax dollar budget.
And mortgage tax has been up.
Mortgage tax is the second part of the revenues. Obviously, with the rates as low as they are and everybody buying homes and second homes and refinancing, you know, we predicted $40,000. We budgeted $40,000 for mortgage tax revenue. I just got notified the last payment coming in, we'll have a total of $67,600. So we got about $27,000 in additional sale of mortgage tax this year above budget. So that's another good news. So as far as the revenues go, we will be fine for this past year's budget and for next year's budget, as long as we maintain where we've been. We've been very conservative with our numbers. I see absolutely no problem with our numbers for next year. If not, we may be in better shape than we thought. So just want to let everybody know that everything does look good on the revenue side. Please keep spending your money locally if possible. Even if it's on the internet, try to shop locally. We do get sales tax, but it certainly is looking better than the originally predicted.
And the highway department has cut back some on some of their expenses also, right?
The highway department, part of this, we actually tried to reduce some spending this year. I asked the highway department to please hold off on part of the road budget that they were going to use out of the tax dollars. We did spend the CHIPS money, so we did hold off on about $30,000 worth of spending, which is good because CHIPS, we did receive notification that they are reducing the CHIPS budget by 20%. So we will be taking a 20% decrease in the amount that they refund us. But the $30,000 we didn't spend is more than enough to offset that. So we're actually ahead of the game, and he's actually cut back on a little bit of salt because he's already full. So he's going to have money left over in his budget this year, which was great because we can actually take what's left over, roll it into his fund balance for next year if we need it. So we're in, I'd like to say, very good shape, but we're in pretty good shape as far as going forward with the revenues and where we sit. So I'm very happy with it. So
We can also put some of that maybe into the equipment fund also.
we could take a look at the end of the year like we always do. We always transfer money into the equipment line, which we can take a look and see better at the the year-end meeting is when we usually do that.
Yeah.
And if we do have a large excess amount of funds, we can put some more money into the equipment line, which we do know there's some big purchases coming up in a year or two. Wouldn't hurt to have a little extra money in there. Okay, I guess that's about it. New business, the adopted 2020 budget,
2021.
or should be 2021, actually, held it wrong, that's all right. It wouldn't do us much good.
Let's get out of 2020.
2021 budget. We did have the public hearing a little while ago in the 2021 budget. I pointed out the highlights. If there's any, I don't think there's anything left to discuss on that. I'll have to put up for a vote for the 2021 budget, as is.
Move to approve.
Second?
Accept, yeah.
Motion by Bob, second by Chris. All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Carried. road use agreement. We have, as we've heard in the past, we've had several meetings already with Transco, transmission lines. They're doing a new transmission line for the equipment, or excuse me, for the transmission line with the electric lines coming down. There's a road use agreement, it's about 6 pages long. It's called the Road Use and Crossing Agreement. It's pretty much a boilerplate agreement letting, giving access for them to use our roads. It states in there a lot of common sense stuff, but the main thing is if there's any damage done to our roads by their vehicles while they're working on all this equipment or while they're working on all this, the lines, that they will be responsible for repairing them. It does say in here that requires a municipal engineer to work with it, blah, 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 go back and forth, which just means we have to get our town engineer involved if there's damage to spec out what needs to be fixed, and they have to agree upon it, and they will take care of paying for it. Andy actually read this over, he approved it, and he sent it down for, basically for me to get authorization from the board to go ahead and sign this land use agreement. I know Bob's already looked at it because it was here, but it's really pretty much a boilerplate.
So the lawyers approved it.
The lawyers approved it, yep.
Does it specify the roads involved?
It did not.
This line is going from well north of here, all the way down to New York City, going through a lot of towns.
Yeah, it's very
And
small.
there's not much in Claremont, but there is a little bit.
Yeah, it's Turkey Hill, it's the only one
Yeah,
across.
yeah.
It's the only one across the Turkey Hill Railroad, I believe.
Is there any sort of, to Chris's,
Does it follow
Comment.
the existing transmission route?
It does.
yeah, I was gonna say, is there any way of determining if they damaged a road, if it's not the road that they're crossing? In other words, they're bringing equipment in and something happens on a different road, not on their way to where they're
Well,
working.
everything leading up to that is county road,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
Turkey Hill is the only, basically,
Okay.
our town road over there off the county road. So if they damage county road, they're doing the same thing, they'll be responsible for the county road as well.
Okay,
So it's a very small exposure on our end.
It looks pretty comprehensive also. In fact, they even put in there that they have the requirement to notify us if they damage a road. Now, we gotta rely on their integrity for that, but that's part of it. And as Ray said, I did look through it. I gave a copy to Jimmy, and he looked through it all. So the only question I had was where they talk about a municipal engineer, which we have an engineering firm that works for us, but they're not a municipal engineer paid. But Andy, again, Ray talked to Andy, and he looked it over, and he said that he thinks that's fine. We just would use our engineer in that spot. And the highway superintendent would be involved, through the engineer, obviously, as well.
Correct. So,
What's the time frame of this?
oh, this is
The
gonna
next
be
4 or
ongoing.
5 years?
I was gonna say, it's the next couple of years, and it doesn't specify, the time exactly, so this is gonna be going on for the next, probably 2 or 3 years at least.
And the interesting thing is that this company asking for permission to use town roads. Now, nobody else in the world would ask for.
Yeah, they're really
Permission.
dotting all the i's and
Yeah.
crossing all the t's. This is it's a multi-billion-dollar
This has been
project.
a long time in coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the transmissions, and they've been, for years past this, their friends in Milan with property, and they're gonna put these transmission things right on their property. There's a lot of feedback from that. So, we just have to have it. There are lots of areas in the state where people don't get any good,
Well, unfortunately, it's not gonna do us a whole lot of good because it's basically farming all the electric down the line, but, it's gonna reduce the amount of structures, which is nice.
Right.
Reduce, the amount of structures on the poles and the support,
Right.
so, I think it's, overall, it's gonna be a good project, so.
I don't
I just-
recall the group that was here that has done at least 2 presentations. They did say that they would continue to do those before the board as the project went on.
They will be doing periodic, yes, we'll see them probably another half a dozen times before this thing ever sees daylight, so.
As
yeah,
far as
just-
the agreement, as Ray says, it's just really a boilerplate agreement, but it does give us some legal way to go after them if they do damage a road, which I doubt that they will.
Is that a motion?
I was just about to do that, yes.
Motion
Right,
to authorize me to sign the paperwork?
So moved.
All right,
Second.
Second by Dawn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I really wonder if this will help Elizaville. She's still in the dark. There's no reception there.
Unfortunately, no, it's not gonna.
It's like a different country.
Another new business I just want to bring up, was brought to my attention that internet service at the community house, the Canaan Fellowship has asked about if we could possibly provide internet service from over to the community house. I did look into this a little bit. I spoke to the Germantown Telephone Company, and they came out and did a quick assessment and said there's no way for us to boost the signal over there. We basically have two options. If we want to do this, we would have to either run a wire from the town hall, a hard wire from the town hall to the community house, or we would have to bring a new service in from the poles to the community house. The new service into the poles is going to cost quite a bit of money. It's going to cost you $40-50 a month. It's a brand new service, totally separate. If we were to do it from the town hall, it'd be, I think they said it's a $10 fee a month, but obviously we have to get the wire from here to there, which is not the easiest thing to do. So I wanted to just bring it up to you guys for discussion to see, do we want to go through with this? And if we do, I did speak with Jimmy, superintendent of the highways. He did say it's possible to obviously cut a trench through blacktop. It's the only way to do it because you can't hang a wire over top. It's a Cat 5 wire. Just cut a trench through blacktop, bury the wire over to the building and bring it up. Sounds easier than it is, but it's not that difficult, but it obviously it's not a 5-minute job. It's going to cost a little bit of money. The Canaan Fellowship is willing to pay part of that cost, if not most of it. I don't know. I'll have to go through the details if we want to go through with it. But I wanted to bounce it off everybody and see what our thoughts were on this. Do we see a benefit of having internet over there? A separate, another phone line, which we, could also do a phone line through that. Thoughts on that? That's why I want to bring it up. So what does the board feel?
It sounds like a good idea. I mean, the more connected we are, I think the better we are as far as communicating. Everything is moving to technology, Wi-Fi, and expanding that, I think, is a good thing.
And why would there be, if we're running it off of what we have here that we're already paying for, why would there be an additional $10 charge?
That's their fee for an outside user. I mean, they call it, I think they put another, maybe, I don't know, another modem over there. I don't know what they actually do.
They may have to put some sort of an amplifier
They
or
have to
something.
do
on the
something, which
signal.
would be an extra $10 a month fee. So.
Okay, which is better than $50 a month.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if we're on board and we like this idea, we think we're gonna go through with this, what I'll do is I'll drill down on getting an actual estimate to see what it's gonna cost, and then see how much Canaan would pitch into it, and see what it's gonna actually cost us and come back with that. But I just wanna make sure everybody,
Have you evaluated if we could just have this wireless from here reach over there?
I asked
If
them
we
that.
got our own router and like a mesh network or something like that?
I asked them if we could just boost the signal and put an amplifier and boost it over there, and they said no. So I don't know any further than that. I'm not that savvy on this. I don't know, but they said no.
I would be happy to see if we could set up another router and perhaps set up a mesh network that would reach, it might just be simpler and more straightforward.
I think the distance is a bit of a stretch for us to try to boost a you'd almost need a transmitter here at the edge of the building and then another one over there, and that's still quite a distance. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
sure.
what, 100 feet, 150 feet? I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I kind of feel like a hardwired method is probably the best way to go if you want a reliable kind of signal over there.
That was their suggestion. They said they didn't think it would work with boosting the signal, but I mean,
Right.
that's they're trying to sell us more money. I don't know. I didn't know, so that's why I said.
I'm kind of in agreement with that. It would be a hard sell to try to push a Wi-Fi that distance.
You
Okay.
mentioned telephone. There was a phone over there at one time that I believe they were paying for, but it was there anyway, and I don't believe it's being used now. So if there were
We don't pay for a phone there anymore,
No. But if there's wires for telephone, I don't know where they come from, but then maybe we already are wired where they could.
Depending on what the wire is, if it's something
It's a
they
long
can.
time ago
if
since
they can
we've
hook
had that
into it.
phone, so it was on the back wall by the door. door
The
that
phone
goes out.
line, the old phone lines are not the same any longer. Even your landlines are,
Fiber.
Not the same.
yeah, they're not like the old landlines used to be.
But how they accessed it or how they got it into the building, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
But if we're
Oh,
using
if they
that
ran
as a
into
separate
here.
wire,
Yeah, if there's
if
already.
it's a separate wire from the road
It-
coming in, then that would be.
It wouldn't be a
qualify
Cat
for the
5.
$50
Yeah.
a month
Okay,
charge
all right.
instead of the
I
$10
just
a
wanted to
month.
mention that because it's been a while
Yeah,
since we've even talked about that phone.
right.
Well, if we like the concept, I'll certainly drill down on the numbers and find out more about it, and then we can decide, you know. move forward.
I like the concept. The method in which we do it is, I guess, a different story. You know, we could look at how to do that, how much trouble it is, and, you know, reevaluate then.
Okay. and if you
I
wanna
like
take a
the
look at
concept.
I'm
if
happy
it's
to do,
possible.
yeah. I think it's a good idea. We should certainly have
Yeah, I
some sort
agree.
of internet over there.
Okay, all right, then we'll move forward with at least getting the
If
numbers
I
done.
remember years ago, wasn't there some kind of maybe there was no internet, some sort of computer classes being done for I don't know if it was just seniors or elderly or whatever.
There were.
There was something like that. I don't know if there was internet involved with that.
It was, but it was only accessible at the corner of the building.
Oh, okay,
This front, yeah, the front room here on this end.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it.
He was able to reach over here,
The
Okay.
Wi-Fi? Yeah. I
but
think
just from that corner of the building.
right, I think
Yeah.
if you had a different router and network, it would be possible, but I don't know.
All right,
It
well,
might be
hey,
able to find it.
again, they may be trying to sell us something we don't need, and if we can look into it, if you wanna take a look at it,
Yep.
that'd be great, sure.
I've actually got one of those little things you plug in the wall to expand.
The extenders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could try that. I mean, I'm not using it right now, but I have one. We could try it and see what it does.
But wouldn't that, well, anyways, we can talk.
Yeah.
About it though.
Yeah, I think what the King Fellowship wants to do is, obviously, is be able to broadcast their
They would
services.
stream.
So the people that don't wanna come in and be crowded in,
Yeah,
at
that's
this
great,
time,
that makes a lot
you
of
could
sense.
watch it from
So
home.
then, isn't it a tenant improvement? Why is the town doing it?
Well, that's what they came to ask us if we would be willing to look into it, and they would, you know, they were gonna pay for some of it, maybe all of it, I don't know, depending on what it costs, but they are looking.
Well, if you're talking about $100 or $200, I mean, you know, it's like, it's not gonna be a burden to them, but it would be nice if there was something over there already, but if they're using it to broadcast their services on some kind of closed thing, that's their expense.
It's a good point.
But they need to have the ability to
Well,
hook
can't
into
they
it.
get the ability in there if they wanna do that?
They can't run wires into our building without ours
We would-
being
we would have to
involved.
So
approve it.
so then the question is, do you give them permission to alter the building to be able to get, to make a proposal of how they wanna alter the building to get Wi-Fi service in there?
But there may be other people that wanna use it eventually, and so we're asking them to pay for something that improves the building.
Well, those people don't exist yet.
What? And
It's,
they pay us $4,000 a year to
So
to use
if they pay you $4,000 a year for the way it is now, they wanna improve it.
there's two ways to look at it, you know, it's a, you know, you can look at it either way, yes. That's why I'm trying to get the information together and see if it makes sense for us to partner up with them, or do it on our own, or let them do it, but we need some numbers to know if it's worth, if we wanna get
So
involved.
they didn't come to you with a menu of what their options are.
They did not, they just asked, can we get it over there, we're willing to pay for
Yeah.
some, if not all of it, I don't know, so. You know, if it's $1,000, are they gonna pay for it? I don't know, is it $500, $200? I don't know, we need to get those numbers and decide if we wanna do the, the infrastructure up here.
And the monthly fee to have it there.
Right, $10 a month, right? So, we could certainly, get that information together and decide if we wanna move forward with it at that point. Okay. One thing I didn't have on here, just wanna mention, we do have, a vacancy on our zoning board. So we do have an alternate in place, but I think we should, set up, interviews, to see if we want to consider someone else for the position and or someone to replace the alternate. So we have somebody, as a backup. So I think we should try to set up an interview process for the zoning board. Maybe we can advertise that, and if we want to pick a night that we can, maybe get here on a Thursday night or something when Mary's here, town hall's open, I think it's probably easiest. Set up for, a couple weeks from now, give us 10 days to advertise possibly. Set up for a couple weeks from now, and then we'll do some interviews and try to get somebody for this position.
Yep.
Thursday, the 19th, is that working for everybody? I mean, it's a couple weeks from now.
Sure.
We'll do it maybe for 7 p.m. That'll probably be better. Does that work all right for everybody?
Yep, my calendar's in use. What
Oh.
date was it?
The 19th,
19th?
7 p.m. And for
I'm
some
sure
reason
that-
we don't get anybody that's interested, or that schedules an appointment, we may just cancel that meeting, but we're gonna try to reach out and advertise and see if anybody's interested.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it for November 19th at 7 p.m. Okay. That's about it. Move on to supervisor's report. Really don't have a lot left on the supervisor's report. I just want to thank everybody again for all the donations, and I also wanted to thank the fire department for holding the get-together for the trick-or-treaters on Halloween at the park. It was very nice of them to do that. They reached out to me a few weeks before that and said, we'd like to do something for the kids, hand out some candy. So they actually asked if they could use the park. I says, please do, as long as you practice, the safe distancing and all the protocol. And they actually did. They put their Scott packs on, and obviously were completely sealed up, so there was no chance of transmission of any kind of infection. But they did had a nice. I didn't actually find out the numbers, but I know they did have some kids there, and I'm glad they did it, and I really appreciate them for doing that.
And the
Okay,
sheriff's
thank you.
department also was
And the
there.
sheriff's department was there for the vehicles. So yes, I wanted to thank them for doing that. Other than that, that's about it. So we'll move on to pay abstracts. Move to pay abstracts. You guys want to get one out?
Oh, thank you.
Move to pay highway abstract number 11, vouchers number 84 through 90, in the amount of $5,171.98.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to pay trust and agency number 7, claim numbers 11 through 13 in the amount of $260.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move we pay general abstract number 11, vouchers 251 through 275, in the amount of $19,390.48.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Good. All right, we'll move on to public communications, public comments.
If I
Anybody?
could just report that I'm continuing to prepare the paperwork related to the issue that I brought before the board on several occasions, and it's a delay related by other people, not to me.
Okay, all right. As soon as you have that, I'm sure we'll be next second to know, right?
As soon as I get it.
Okay, all right. Any other comments, questions, complaints? We're doing good tonight, all right. We had more
Compliments.
compliments, thank you, can't spit it out, but we did complaints, so that's a good night.
Where'd she go?
She left.
Oh,
Okay,
for tomorrow.
there's no other public comment? I guess we'll, motion, accept motion or
So
something?
moved.
Second.
Go on second, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Have a good night.
And vote.
Yes.
And vote.
Yes, everybody go out and vote.
Everybody's here. All gonna hear this. Everybody is here.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
In case anyone forgets.